Most runners think they're running slowly. Most of them are not running slow enough. And that's often why they feel stuck, tired, or are constantly picking up little niggles. You might have heard the advice, slow down to run faster. Maybe you've thought that doesn't make sense. Well, I'm here to explain why it does make sense, why we should all be slowing down a lot more on our runs, but maybe why it might not be right for you right now. But first we need to address why so many runners find it hard to slow right down on their runs. There's many reasons. Sometimes we're short of time, you want to fit in a certain amount of miles on your lunch hour or in that small window of time that you've got. Sometimes though, our perception of a run changes based on the number that we see on the watch. Maybe you've experienced something like this. You're running along, feels pretty good, feels pretty manageable. It feels like you're in the flow. Then you look down at your watch and you see a number that feels a bit off, like, that's not as slow as I am, I'm faster than that. And it doesn't sit right with you. So you might start to feel negative about yourself, feel, oh, I'm slow. When moments before you were thinking, this is pretty good, I'm enjoying this run. But those negative thoughts start to creep in and your perception of that run changes. So maybe you speed up and you start to go a bit faster till there's a number on that watch that you feel a bit more comfortable with mentally. But your body doesn't work like that and it's starting to go, this is a bit faster. So you're feeling a bit more uncomfortable. Maybe your legs are complaining. Maybe your breathing's a bit faster. We are in that battle between what our body needs and what our mind wants to see on the watch. And that's a trap that a lot of runners fall into quite regularly. Those slower runs, or easy runs, as you might see them called on your training plan, are there for a reason. They have a real function, and if we're not going as slow as we need to, as slow as our body needs us to, then we're not going to feel all the benefits. We're not going to develop as much as a runner. Often runners don't believe me when I tell them that actually going slower than their regular pace that they're running will make them faster. And I get it, because if your coach tells you to run 10-minute miles for this run, you might think, well, if 10-minute miles is good, 9-minute miles is surely better. But that's not how our physiology works. There are physical adaptations that happen more readily when we train at a truly easy pace. Our body builds more and bigger mitochondria. Now, these little things in our cells are very important because they're what turn glycogen and fat into ATP, which is what our body can use to turn into energy to make us run. It encourages greater capillary density. Now, the capillaries, they're the little tubes at the end of your veins, even smaller, that get the blood and the oxygen to your exercising muscles. It will improve your VO2 max, which is the amount of oxygen your body can transport while you're running. And it improves your running economy, which is how fast your body can run at a set amount of oxygen. All you need to take from all of that really is that there's lots of adaptations that are happening in your body when you slow the pace right down. The other factor in slowing some of our runs right down is that it allows us to do some of our runs faster. And we should have a range of paces in our week. If you're going out and pushing yourself as hard as you can each time you run, that's putting a bigger strain on your body. It's not giving your body enough time to recover between hard sessions to make those adaptations for you to get the full benefit of the hard work that you've put in. So take some of your runs hard, take more of them slow, and you'll develop a lot faster. You also won't feel as tired between runs or when you go out and your legs feel lethargic. You'll be able to perform better in those hard runs by taking the slower runs nice and slow. And the factor that I think gets overlooked more than anything else when we talk about running slower is that it's a lot more enjoyable. If we take the pressure off, if we try and forget about the paces, the numbers on our watch, and just run at a pace that our body can handle really easily, then it's a lot more fun. You look around, enjoy things, your body isn't complaining as much, not screaming at you, you can run with friends. It's a lot more enjoyable way to train. So your body's pretty clever. It's got different choices of energy that it can use. It's got fat or it's got glycogen, which comes from carbs, and which it chooses depends on what sort of activity you're doing at any given moment. So if you're asking your body to run a short distance, maybe 100 meters, you might be using more glycogen than fat. But if you're asking it to run a long distance, like an ultra marathon, it's going to be using more fat than glycogen. Now, for most distances that we as recreational runners train for, 5K, 10K, these are all aerobic activities. So we're depending more on fat than on glycogen, despite the fact that when we talk about marathons, I'm going to tell you to take carbs on board during the race. We're mainly using fat, and we can get better at using that fat, transferring it from fat to ATP to use in our muscles if we run at a slower pace. So the longer your race, the more important it is to be doing those nice slow miles to help your body get more efficient at using fat to get your energy. So how slow should be running? Well, that will depend from runner to runner because speed is relative. So my fast paces are probably the same as an elite runner's easy paces, and my slow paces might be another runner's fast paces. So it really depends on the individual runner. But as a rule of thumb, I would say go a minute per mile slower than your marathon pace. Now, if you're a runner that's working towards your first 10K or half marathon, you need to be looking about a minute or 2 minutes per mile slower than that race is going to take you. If that's too many numbers to work out, it should be a pace at which you can say a few words. If you're running with someone, you should be able to have a conversation, not massively elaborate sentences maybe, but you should be able to say a few words back and forth without feeling like you're going to explode. If you are a newer runner, if you've just trained for your first 5K or you're still on your way there, the science is a little bit different for you because you're not able to slow down and run and be in that truly easy pace just yet. You might still need to keep some of those walk breaks in, even though you're able to run 5K now. Keeping some walk breaks to try and make it easier for you will help you. Now, the first couple of times that you do a 5K, you might find that your paces get a bit quicker. You did that first 5K, you just wanted to complete it, then the next time you did it, you went a little bit quicker, and the time after that, a little bit quicker. What, after a period, you might notice is that your time starts to plateau, and this is where the body is signaling to you to go a bit slower on some of your runs, take it nice and easy, slow right down, so that you can go for it in your next 5K race. Constantly testing your body, looking to see those improvements is going to put too much strain on it. So test it on a Saturday at the park run, and then the rest of the week, try and slow it right down. You'll notice improvements a lot quicker if you do it that way. So if you want to get faster, stronger, more consistent, whether you've been running for 5 weeks, 5 years, or longer than that, you've got to give yourself permission to slow right down. Forget about what your watch says. Listen to your body. Take it nice and slow. If you've got any questions, pop them below. I will answer them. And if you find this approach useful, you might want to subscribe. I share realistic running advice when I have something useful to say.